It's August 2025 in Santa Cruz County. Who has the upper hand in the real estate market? Is it buyers or sellers? You know, if you listen on the national news, they love to say, it's a buyer's market and, sellers, you're in for it. Well, that's not what I'm seeing. But I'm seeing things go both ways. It's actually really hard to kind of find a winner in any market, really, because somebody kind of has to lose to have a winner, right? But it is kind of a mixed bag, and I'll give you an idea of what's going on, and you can decide who's winning, the buyers or the sellers. All right, mortgage rates. Mortgage rates, they are so stubborn. They just won't come down to where everybody would love them, which is about under 6%. They are so stubborn. They are staying at about 6.5 to 6.75, depending on your credit. I know some people have gotten much lower than that, but what they don't tell you is they put a lot down, or they have amazing credit, or they just have some sort of circumstance that gives them that lower rate. But we're seeing them kind of really stick right around 6.5. Inventory is climbing. So that would tell you that, well, that's not good for sellers, right? More competition. Buyers have more choice. Wouldn't that be great for buyers? But prices aren't really going down that much. On the west side of Santa Cruz, as usual, it is hot, hot, hot. But there are price cuts out there. I did a small survey on Capitola properties for the month of July and found that prices had gone down a bit at the offering table, and the sales price closing was 4 to 8% less than the list price, but no real dramatic dumps. And in that same survey, I found a few properties sold for either a little bit over or right at list price. So, we're not just seeing above board, just dramatic cuts on everything. Insurance is difficult to secure. So that can be hard for buyers, and it can be hard for sellers. If you live in an area that is hard to get insurance, you might have got it, 10, 15 years ago, and they've continued to renew your policy. And you're like, well, I don't see what the problem is. And I called my insurance guy, and they said, I'll give it to me for another year. But the same buyer for your property cannot get a policy on that property for whatever reason. You're too close to a fire zone, flood zone. Santa Cruz has A to Z disasters. So, name your issue here, but insurance is harder to secure than it was a few years ago. So that is definitely an issue for buyers and sellers. And then here's the new thing. You might not have thought of this, but because I am knee deep in the market, I can tell you what the new issue is right now is roofs. A lot of homes have roofs on them that are just doing just fine. My own is included. Now, I have owned my home since 2007. And to me, the roof looks just about the same. I don't have any leaks. If I got it inspected, I'm going to say they would say that probably around some of the vents need to be remasked. They have to put like a masking tape around them. Not that masking tape, but it's anyway. But, it probably has a couple of years left in it. But if I was going to sell my house today, a buyer might come to me with a roof inspection and say, you know what? You need a new roof, and I can't get an insurance policy on it because of the age of your roof. That's what we're seeing. So if you don't take anything away from this video at all, seller, I would tell you, check on your roof, get it inspected. I recommend Dario Roofing for roof inspections because they give you a decent range of the age of your roof if you're not sure. And then they can tell you if it can be repaired and how long that warranty is good for. Or sometimes they just say, hey, look, you just need to get this fixed. We are, repaired, replaced, repaired, replaced. No, replaced. We can't even warranty it. And then for sure that if you're going to sell, your buyer is going to have problems. So, seller, you get an offer and the buyer comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million for your place. Not really taking into account the roof, but you're thinking, man, my roof is older. But they offer you $20,000 less. So it's going to be $980. And you say, great, but I'm not going to give you any more concessions because you're factoring in that $20,000 that they already need to put that roof on there. But then they come back and they ask for more. And you're like, look, I don't want to give you any more. I mean, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing buyers asking for less than discovering something and then still asking for lower on the price, even though all the disclosures have been given out. So how do you fix that? You get a roof inspection. So I've been telling you for years, you need to get a home inspection and a termite or pest inspection and or sewer lateral. I've talked about those, but now I'm going to tell you in 2025 to help your buyer get an insurance policy to secure that policy and be sure you should get a roof inspection and make sure you understand what's going on with your roof. That way the negotiations may be a bit smoother. So what's going to happen in the fall of 2025? I think prices are going to still continue to go down a bit. Inventory has eased off. Let's see, as of the 18th of August, there was 456 listings, and I had done a video, I think, 6 weeks ago, and said there were 600. So we're starting to see it go down as it does in the fall, but I think there's a lot of opportunity if you're a buyer. Unfortunately, costs will probably be a bit higher. I think that insurance is still going to be significant, and depending on what property you get, you may not be able to use a conventional lender. You may have to go outside of the box and get a non-conventional lender. Those loans cost more. There's going to be more headaches for sellers. You're going to have buyers that do negotiate in bad faith. Unfortunately, they offer you low and come back and still ask for more. So that's a headache. I would just say be prepared if you can. There's going to be a surprise or hiccup on the way. Buyers expect to pay a bit more, even if you get a lower price on the property and you negotiate that. Just to, insurance or repairs on it, it's going to cost more. And sellers, there's going to be some surprises along the way. So what is my synopsis? There's really no winner, buyer, or seller. It just depends on the transaction. But I will tell you, buyer, if you got your house, and seller, you sold your house, you're both winners. So don't miss my next video. It's next week. It's going to be a market update. And I'm going to go into the statistics and we can talk a little bit more about numbers and what I'm seeing. But for fall, as a buyer, I would tell you, I think there's some good opportunity out there. And for sellers, there's buyers out in the market. So, could just be a win-win. If you need anything at all, please contact me. I'm here for you. Talk to you soon. Bye.